Let's use the sjPlot library to create a box plots today. So I'll be using these libraries: sjPlot, Scales, ggplot2, FlexTable, and dplyr. And let's get some data. I'll be using the Diamonds dataset available in the ggplot2 package for that. So here is the data. Let's view it using the FlexTable. I just want to see the first 6 rows. So these are the columns which are available. And this is how the data looks like. We'll be mainly interested in the price column. Okay, we are ready to create our first plot, and here is the command for that. So plot_frequency, and I'm using the Diamonds $price. So you can see that it has created a plot, and there's another way of creating the plot. Instead of doing the dollar, I'm just putting the comma. So both of these commands work fine. You would notice that I use the type equals box, and now I'm going to try the type equals violin. And here is a violin plot. So it's a box plot inside, and there's also the violin plot being plotted. The violin plot is basically giving us the concentration of the data around different areas. In other words, you can see that there are more diamonds being sold at a lower price. As you can see, it's very fat at the bottom, and then it starts getting tapered up at the top. We can reduce the size of the box plot by using the inner.box.width command as shown, so that the violin looks more prominent now and the center box is actually reduced now. We can also adjust the size using the geom size. So look at that, geom size equals 1, geom size equals 0.8, and geom size equal to 0.5. So it starts reducing in width. Now let's start experimenting with the geom.colors, and I'm trying different colors there: red, green, blue. sjPlot library also has some built-in color palettes in that, which you can see by using this command, and you can see them on screen like this. Let's see how these colors from the built-in color palettes look like. Apart from the ready-made color palettes, there is also a built-in theme in sjPlot which we can use, and let's try to use this. It's called theme_sjPlot. And of course, we can also use some additional themes from the ggplot2 package, something like this: theme classic and theme BW. Remember, we called the ggplot2 package in the beginning, and that was the precise reason I called that library in the beginning. Let's try to experiment with the plot title and the size of different fonts. Here we go. We can call this command, and I'm putting the title equals boxplot with sjPlot, and then changing different font sizes. For example, the title.x, title.y, labels.x, and labels.y, and of course the title itself. So here we go. Let's try changing it a bit more. And you can see that the font sizes have already changed now on the screen. You would have noticed that there is a white dot on the plot, on the box plot. This is the mean line, and the horizontal bar which you see, the black colored bar, this is actually the median point. And we can also use the confidence interval for the median. And if I use the show.ci command equals true, this is how the plot looks like. It's basically showing the confidence interval around the median. You can also set the limit on the y-axis for the points which will be used in the plot. You have to be careful because anything outside would not be taken into consideration when it's plotting the box plot. And here is the command for that. Y limits equals C250, 1000. So any point between 250 and 1000 would be shown. Anything outside would not be shown. So it might actually change the shape of your box plot. Here I've redrawn a basic box plot, and I'm going to use the expand.grid equals true. Notice the chart shape. You can see that 0 has moved slightly up. Here was the old plot, and here is the new plot. So I like it this way, expand.grid equals true, because it gives you bit of a space at the bottom. Remember that on the y-axis we have the price, and we can change the grid breaks. Grid breaks equals 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000, etc. What happens if you want to rotate or change the orientation of your plot from a vertical box plot to a horizontal box plot? Does that work in sjPlot? Let's see. So here is the basic box plot. And now I'm going to add another command called coord or coordinates.flip equals true. And when I plotted it, it still plotted it in a vertical direction, so I couldn't change the orientation of the plot. But of course, we can use the basic ggplot2 commands to enhance our charts further. So here is the first command. I'm putting the basic box plot using the sjPlot into an object called PL, and you can actually print that object PL and it displays your chart. Now we can introduce the ggplot2 commands. So I'm using the theme classic, which comes from ggplot2, and you can see that it has actually applied the theme classic from the ggplot2 library. And we can go further, and I can use the scale y continuous command, and I can say, look, put the labels with a comma. I'm using the scales package, which we call in the beginning, and that's giving us the commas for the longer or the bigger numbers. So how about trying if we can flip the coordinates now? So I'm using the ggplot2 command called coord_flip, and you can see that it has changed the direction from a vertical box plot to a horizontal box plot. I'm removing it now, and it will now become a vertical box plot. Very good. So we can see that the combination of the sjPlot and the ggplot2 seems to be working very well. We can try to enhance the charts further by adding some more commands. Let's try the breaks, or the number of breaks on the vertical axis or on the y-axis, by using the breaks command and saying breaks_width is going to be 1000. So, and this is again coming from the scales package, which we called in the beginning of this script. So now you can see that there is breaks after every 1000, and now I'm changing it to 2000 and so on. And you can see that numbers still have the commas, large numbers still have the commas in there, which looks nice. Any chart should have lots of labels so that it's very clear to the end users. So we can use again the ggplot2 commands, labs or the labels X and labels Y, title, subtitle and caption. And we can see that it works beautifully. Now I want to change the color of the fill. And you can see that I've put a command called scale_fill manual values equals green. But the color has not changed. And the reason for that is we have to supply the geom color within the plot_frequency command from the sjPlot function. So here we go. If I run it now, it should work. So far we have only created a single box plot, just a single box plot for the diamond price. But what if we wanted to create different box plots for different colors or different cuts, or the prices for different colors or different cuts? So this is called the grouped box plots. Let's try to use that feature as well. So you can see that we have different cuts, and then we have the prices for all these cuts. So we'll try to create a grouped box plot based on the cut. There's a new command for a grouped plot_group frequency, and we supply a variable for the grouping, and then we supply another variable which contains a numeric or the continuous values, for example diamond or price, and the type of chart which we want is a box plot, of course. So here we have a box plot for different cuts. The prices for different cuts are shown. Let's add some other commands for the labels, etc. Remember that the scale fill manual command didn't work for the single box plot, but this is a grouped box plot, and because we've already supplied the grouping variable, you can see that the colors have changed based on the aqua palette which we used. And I'm trying to use another palette, and you will see that it works also. Now, finally, one of the most useful features in the sjPlot box plots is the interaction variable. We can introduce another variable called interaction variable. So let's pick on one of the variables which we can use for our interaction variable. So the first one is the diamond cut, diamond price, and we're going to use the diamond clarity as the interaction variable. So when we see the output of this chart, you would see that we have a combination of each clarity and cut. So these are the different cuts, and it's showing each of the clarity for each of the cuts. I want to change two things in this chart. I want to put the legends at the top position instead of being at the right position now. And then I also want to rotate the labels on the x-axis so that it looks less busy. So I'm using these commands, legend.position equals top, and then I'm saying rotate the angle of the element text for the x-axis by 90 degrees. And here is the output of our chart. Legend has moved to the top, and these axes are rotated by 90 degrees and looks nice. I hope you found this video useful and practical. Thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.